everyone. My name is Peter Romillo, and today we're going to be going over our Convert More Leads into Loans webinar. We'll be discussing the Borrow Smart analysis program and how it will enable you to increase your conversion rate and really make the process as simple for clients, old or prospective, that you deal with from day to day. So it looks like we're getting a bunch of people jumping on right now. So I am going to begin. Throughout this presentation, any questions, please send them in, and I'll do my best to go over as many as possible once we're done walking through the service. And if I can't get to your question or don't have an immediate answer, I will be very prompt in getting your response right back. So rest assured, any questions you may have will be answered. So a little bit about myself. My name is Peter Romillo. I am the sales manager for Borrow Smart Analysis. Education-wise, I have a Bachelor of Arts in Biology and Finance from Tufts University out of Massachusetts. I also have a Master's in Biochemistry from Tufts. I spent 5 years in the mortgage industry, and I spent the last 2 years with Mortgage Success Source. Personally, with Borrow Smart, I've trained hundreds of loan originators and dozens of companies. So looking at this list here, I've actually spoken with a lot of you about Borrow Smart or possibly another service. But for those who I haven't spoken with in the past, it's very nice of you to take some time today, and I certainly do appreciate that. So pretty much what we're going to be doing today is going over some different aspects, how this system applies. And I really hope that you can at least take 1 or 2 points away after our time together today. I will be going over towards the end. We do have some pricing specials for new users. If you want to continue on, we do have some really nice breaks for you. But what we'll really be doing is, going inside the minds of your prospects, giving them a visual solution. They're not experts. They don't need to be. And this system, Borrow Smart, will spell everything out for them as easy as possible for them to understand. Then we're going to touch upon the regulatory landscape. I mean, what is going on right now with compliance, and how Borrow Smart will really make compliance something that you don't really need to pay much attention to. We're going to go over a live loan scenario with Borrow Smart, and then we'll go over Q&A, and again, we'll discuss the free trial offer, and also the special available to anybody who attended today's webinar. So that being said, let's really jump in here. So your prospects' concerns. When I entered the financial industry, it was definitely at about the worst possible time that could have possibly been in my lifetime. And because of this, I'm actually really hyper aware right now of the industry, primarily what customers' concerns are, but also not letting compliance rule my life as well as LO's lives. So really what we've had over here is that the last 5 years, they've been rough. So no matter what housing option a prospect is looking for, they're going to have reservations. Whether it be a single-family home, repairs, can I afford any sort of maintenance, renovations, townhouses? I heard that we have association fees there. Can I afford that in addition to a mortgage? Condos, should I just rent instead? What's the difference? How is that going to affect me? And with this system, you're going to be able to show, both through a long-term and short-term, what option will be better to them. And we break it down really simple, and you'll see why in a little bit. So what do your prospects think right now? I mean, I'm sure the refi boom is slowing down. We have a lot of people that are coming to the table as first-time home buyers. And what are they hearing? The housing market is still incredibly volatile. It's impossible to get a loan. Why should I bother? Even if I can get a loan, I can't even afford to own that home. I'll lose too much if I sell now. It's not even worth it. And these loan options are just too much. Their biggest fear in the end is being able to either make a purchase, lose a house, or be foreclosed. These are really, really real things for your clients. So what we have here with our service is ways to get them past these different misconceptions. It's still a great time to buy. And with less houses on the market, it's a great time to sell. Mortgages are certainly a little tougher to get when they were, to be honest. But people are being qualified for what they can realistically afford. And interest rates, as we can see, are still amazing. Your clients need to understand the market. They need to understand how to avoid their biggest fears, foreclosures and short sales. So what we have with our system is giving them 3 answers to what they need to know now. Can I afford this transaction right now? Do I have the cash to even do this? Can I afford to do this today? Second question, can I afford this monthly? Do I have the ability to make a monthly payment? Is it something that my cash flow will allow? And then our suitability question, can I afford it over any duration of time? What's the net impact to my wealth going to be? In other words, with this suitability question, you're really going to be able to find out what makes the most sense to that borrower right now. So what BorrowSmart does is pretty simple. It gives your clients visual options so they can look at how much money they have on hand, what they can afford to pay monthly, and how long they're actually going to have to pay. This helps them choose what's right for them, and I really do feel confident about this. The branded personalization, the presentation, hands down, it gives them the confidence that it's well thought out in your proposal, so when it's finally time to pull the trigger, we're going to go with you. It's visual, so they don't even really need an LO to understand this. And I'll go over all the different ways that you can make this final presentation with your client, whether it be live, recorded, or a traditional printout. For every single client, we have a way of getting this information into their hands. No problem. So we'll deal with more of that, how this is going to affect your different clients and how you're going to get this message out to them in a little bit. But for you as an LO, it's time to ease your compliance concerns. This presentation, your final product with any BorrowSmart final presentation, is going to be professionally branded with your name, NMLS number, your company's NMLS number, and any company-specific disclaimers. With our service, we're going to automatically archive copies of communication for regulatory compliance. If at any event you're audited, you or as a company will be able to get any plan that you've ever submitted or sent out through this system. We're compliant with the MAP Ad Rule, the Truth in Lending Act, and the Dodd-Frank, and more. So right now, we really need to get the point across that what LOs were doing in the past can't continue on. Compliance laws are very finicky. Normal emails that many of you have sent out for decades can now get you into hot water. It's happened. I mean, this is an email one of my colleagues received from one of the largest banks out there. I removed the personal information, anything that could lead to anybody getting in trouble. But as you can see, everything highlighted is non-compliant in this industry. These trigger terms, all of these things can get you in trouble as an LO, get you and your company in trouble, and it's something that you don't want to be in. BorrowSmart will give you the same email option, but it's going to make it compliant. Like I mentioned before, bottom line, we're going to take the worry out of your compliance issues. It's something that you should not worry about and won't have to with BorrowSmart. So now I'm going to take you through some more common scenarios that we're facing. And let's actually log into BorrowSmart right now. And I'm going to show you some of these plans and how easy it is to go ahead and make that final presentation for your client. So I'm actually going to log in. BorrowSmart analysis. So from a broad perspective, BorrowSmart is web-based. You can log in anywhere you need to. So wherever you have internet access, you will have access to this system. So laptop, iPad, Android smartphone, you will be able to utilize this service. It's incredibly friendly over any browser. We're going to go over a bunch of different scenarios today, but I just want to kind of, again, step a little back here and get into the whole setting this system up. What you're going to want to do ideally is brand it. Your photo, your company logo. It's important to include your information as well because every single plan that goes out by default will include all of this information. You're going to want to select some report colors, something that catches your eye, or your company colors, and you're going to include any sort of logos that would apply to you. If you want to include a PDF attachment, which a lot of LOs will do now, kind of like showing their business practice, their experience in the industry, really any way to make yourself stand out. And so again, branding is pretty important. Going back to the presentation, as I said earlier, every time you make a presentation, it will be saved. It's going to be archived based on client as well as property or plans found underneath that specific client. Now, actually creating a plan, BorrowSmart has a slight learning curve compared to other systems out there. The plan should ideally take you no more than 5 to 7 minutes. Within 2 to 3 plans, me personally, I found myself about 80% proficient. But over the next few months, as more advanced scenarios came across my way, especially refinancing, credit card debt, auto loans into all of those refinancing debt options into the plan. I mean, that came, and I picked it up as I went. I learned it on the fly pretty much. So 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be going into a very detailed plan. But as it comes, it'll be kind of self-intuitive as to how you would apply those. And just letting you know, we have a great training and support team here. Now, in addition to myself, you can always call our 1-800 number, which I will bring up at the end of the presentation. You can talk to any of our member services staff, our sales support staff, again, myself. If it's on an off hour or during the weekend, we have a full YouTube channel with over 21 video lessons, FAQs, case studies, really where our developers of the system, get down, they sit down with LOs, financial advisors, go over real-life events and situations, and of course, software updates. When anything is released, we'll let you know right away, and how you want to implement that in your business strategy utilizing BorrowSmart. So going over training, don't worry about it. That's what we're here for. We'll take care of that for you. So just to let you know, it's setting up, there's only 3 tabs here. Manage, which I'll spend about 10% of my time, borrow 80%, and then present the additional 10. All I'm going to do is click create a new client or a new plan. So as you can see here, I actually have quite an array of different plans I can do. I can always do a liability review, kind of take that standpoint of a financial advisor, a refinance, a purchase, investment property, buy versus rent. I can also create open house flyers, and I'll show you an example of one of those at the end of this presentation. For the sake of argument, let's just do a refi. You'll notice that we do allow you to input information as much or a little as you want. Don't get too carried away with it. It's really not necessary to include every single piece. At a minimum, I would include a plan title. Let's just call this Web FHA. I'll include a client name. Again, this way when I need to go quickly back and forth to pick up a client's plan, I can do that. We'll just say this is Jim Smith. Do I need their total gross annual income? Not really. I mean, especially the state and federal tax bracket, that makes more sense when we're doing a purchase. I mean, if you have the information, by all means, include it. But again, it's not necessary. Current liabilities. So I'm going to have to add a liability in this situation. It's going to obviously be the current mortgage we're at. So I click on Add Liability. As you can see here, I can select a large amount of different debts that a person currently would have. So a mortgage, auto loan, alimony, student loans, anything that you could think of, you would be able to input here and include in the system for debt consolidation. I've got a detail button. I'm just going to enter in really basic values, numbers I know work. So we'll just say that the property value is at $300,000. We have a 30-year fix. Let's just say that the creditor is Wells Fargo. This client put down 20%, so let's make this the original loan amount for $240,000. This was started on January 1st, 2010. Interest rate's 5%, so it's going to populate the current payment. I know the current balance is at about $228,000. We can include property taxes, do 1.25%. Mortgage insurance, just do a monthly about $75. And we could include MI. We don't need to. This person did put down 20%. But if we were doing an FHA loan program, which is possible with this system, I would certainly include that as well. So that's it. I've entered in all my information. The only thing additionally I might want to do is include an important objective or statement of interest. Pretty much you want to find out what the client's interested in doing. If they could accomplish pretty much one thing with this this scenario, what would it be? Maybe it's what looks better short-term and long-term. Is a fixed versus an ARM better for me? All those different scenarios, you just put all the information in there, and the goal is to be able to answer that question for that individual. So I'm just going to fill in these numbers, and I am ready to go. So the next thing I'm going to go is borrow, and this is where we're going to spend the majority of our time. You as an LO and your day-to-day activities and us together during this loan presentation. So my current liabilities, as you can see, did carry over. I'm just still dealing with that one mortgage from Wells Fargo. I can present the 3 different alternatives or different situation scenarios with this service. Don't get hung up on having to include all 3, because you're going to kind of hear this as a mantra from me. Sometimes less is better. You don't want to overwhelm the client with too many things. Again, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to be that technical. If you have more of a, if you have more of somebody who's got some background in the industry, they have a technical understanding of viewpoint of things, by all means, you can go as crazy and in-depth as you want. But again, simple is better sometimes. So here we are at the Borrow tab, and this is where I'm just going to be inputting my different loan scenarios. So let's, first things first, why don't we compare a 30-year fix at a better rate. All right. And I'll make this at, we'll make this at 3.5%. So I'll select for my drop-down, 30-year. Okay, calculates my LTV, 76%. Changes pre-tax rate to 3.5. And just so you know, when it comes to these different rates, don't get too hung up. And this will make more sense when I actually go into the payment option. But remember, we want to keep this pre-GFE. The key to a pre-GFE system is you want to keep these different costs broad, especially closing costs. Why not we open that up right now? The reason being is BSA can't get too specific, or it loses the whole purpose of being pre-GFE. Once you start getting into those, breaking it down into all those different origination fees, all the different aspects of closing costs, that's going to require approximately 10 times more disclosures than you would need with this service. So bottom line is keep as general as possible with your different closing costs, but keep them as close as you think they are going to be. So what I'm going to do, again, just to make this as simple as possible, I pre-populate my closing costs at $5,500. I'm going to just make this simple. So I'm going to title this total closing costs. And that's pretty much all I need to do. All my different values are pre-populated about 1.5. Again, don't need MI. And I'm ready to go. I'm just going to save this, and it's now in the system. Okay. So the next situation, let's just do 2 for the sake of argument. I'll just do a simple 15-year. And we'll make this the interest rate of 2 3/4. All right. So all I need to do is actually click this box here. I'm going to duplicate all the information I inputted up in this scenario up here. All I need to do is go ahead, change this to a 15-year fixed. And I'm going to change the pre-tax rate to 2 3/4. Just to confirm, payment is all the same. You know what? Let's actually finance this into the loan. This way I can pretty much tell the client that they really don't need to do anything. This is not going to cost them anything out of pocket right now. Again, if I want to create another scenario, I could certainly do that. Again, just for simplicity, let's just keep it at 2. All right. So you guys remember earlier on, we had those 3 different questions. Closing cost impact. Does this make sense now? Second question, does this make sense monthly? And then finally, does this make sense over time? So pretty simple when we look at does this make sense right now. In each of these situations, since I'm financing all the closing costs into the loan itself, there's no net cash at closing difference, 0, 0, zeroed out. Comparing it to the current, they're not doing anything, there won't be any change of direction of cash if they stick with what they're doing. So then we want to ask ourselves, or ask the client, does this make sense monthly? And of course, at a lower rate, 30-year fixed, 3.5%, they're actually going to be paying $239 less per month. With the 15-year fixed, I mean, that's more of a wealth building option. They're going to have to come up with about $300 more a month. That's what they're currently paying. Now, if the client says, hey, right now, that's not an option. I could not do that. You know what we'll do? We would just simply go ahead and we'll minimize that scenario. I'm not going to today, but you can do that. This way it doesn't crowd up the screen for them. So then we're going to ask the last question here, future wealth impact. Does this make sense over time? So I'm going to set all of my payments at minimum, and typically, you're going to want to figure out what time frame's right for them. And with this situation, I'm going to look at it over 10 years. So I can either move this slider out to 10 years, or I can just simply change it, which I'm going to do right now. All right, so these are all important values. I mean, payments made over time, equity in the property, obviously they all make sense. But what we have here is wealth impact, which is simply equity in the house minus total payments made. So it's really a net suitability question. You're comparing loans, one loan compared to another. So looking at this, I can see that with this 30-year fix at a lower rate of 3.5%, I'm better off by $23,000. I'm telling my client, Jim, just by not doing anything, 10 years from now, you're going to be losing $23,000. So, right now, just showing that to a client is a really powerful statement. I mean, really, it's hard to imagine losing a refi opportunity. With this system in hand, especially showing them that they don't have to put anything out of pocket to get this savings. Now, this is a common objection. They might say, Peter, it looks nice, but I've already been in this mortgage for 3 years. I don't want to lose any time. And as you can see, there is equity lost in the property over the course of those 10 years. So what I would do to rebut that, let's add a payment. I would say, listen, Jim, you're saving $239 a month. Why don't we assume that you're actually going to put that savings towards the mortgage itself for its entire life until the loan is paid off. I save that, and it's going to really make this thing night and day. As you can see, simply, this actually changes to repaying. Not only am I saving money, my wealth impact has increased by almost $30,000. I'm actually going to be debt-free in about 260 months compared to the 320 that I would be if I didn't do anything. So that's a really, that's something that when they see that, it's going to blow them away. I mean, by doing nothing, you're losing all of this. By doing something with no cost to you, you're gaining all of this, and you're going to be out of debt much sooner. So this is really, really powerful stuff. Conversely, let's say that you could even say to them, hey, you know what? Over 10 years, let's say that you take that $239 and you save it. Put it in a bank account at 3% interest that accrues to that rate after that 10 years. You're going to have $33,000 in your bank account. I know you said to me you want to retire eventually. Here's a great start. So either way, whether they want to save it or they want to get out of debt faster, you've got an answer to that. So that's it. I'm ready now to go ahead and make my final presentation. So let me just go to the Present tab. So what will happen is when you click Present, it's going to default to what you mostly use. My default is what I would say about 95% of all users of BorrowSmart will use. I include a simple cover page, an introduction, just giving all my necessary disclosures depending on what plans I'm proposing, and also if I want, I would include a loan program matrix just to kind of show them what their different options were based on their needs. With these expanded summaries, I would go with the 2-page. I always recommend the 2-page, the 5-page being a little too technical for your average client. So when in doubt, let's just do a 2-page detailed summary. Now we have some additional material that you can add on. For example, we're dealing with a first-time home buyer. We can include a brochure about buying a house. Debt consolidation is always important, and if you discuss fixed versus ARMs, you can include material on that as well. Just really, again, it's going to depend on the situation. But other than that, I'm actually ready now to go ahead and look at the final product. So here it is. This is my PDF presentation. Has all my information, my photo, my company logo would be over here, the client's name and who I am, who was prepared for by. And then I'm going to see those different sections that I decided to add on. So I've got an intro. I have why I should manage my liabilities. I have a disclosure that's dynamic to whatever plans I'm presenting. And then I go into that big question, the summary and payment information, what it's going to look like over the next 10 years. And the scenario that I proposed for them, the 30-year fixed, the lower interest rate, is going to be highlighted in green. And another thing we want to take a look at is the break-even month. Pretty much this means is that if they go with this plan after month 21, that's when they're going to start seeing a positive wealth impact. That's when it's going to start making sense that they did this. As you'd expect with a 15-year, it's a little over a year that I start seeing this positive wealth impact. So if they, we went with this proposed 30-year, but if, the 15 years is still something they can do, it's still there. Who knows? That may be something they want to change going forward. So this system, gets very detailed for them, but it makes it simple so they can see exactly what's the bottom line. We have a green check mark letting them what we're proposing. And again, I'm taking into account that this individual is going to be including an additional $239 in their payment. And that's it. It's really clear for them. Payment and wealth comparison. This is where we're going to see that different wealth impact. This is where we're going to see when it makes sense, when they actually start seeing a positive increase in their wealth impact will hit up, and when all their different debts will be paid off over time compared to each of the different scenarios. And then finally, my loan program matrix. I'm just going over the different plans. Of course, it will vary based on what plan I'm presenting, but it does give an idea as to their safety versus their payment. So spells out everything for them, nice and simple, 5 pages, we're done. So this is what they'd see. So now let's get to the the really exciting things with BorrowSmart. So you've got 3 ways of actually presenting this. You can download this as a PDF, as you would expect. You can email this, you can print it, hand it to the client, you can mail it, whatever you want to do. Share my screen. Now, you actually have the ability to share your screen live, just like we're doing. It's called a service called iLink, very similar to GoToMeeting. But what you would do is you would start sharing your screen. An email invitation will be populated. I'm sorry, I'm actually logged in already. But pretty much what would happen is iLink will open up, get the client, send them an email. They're going to click on this link. They're going to be able to log in and see your screen, not just BorrowSmart, but anything on your desktop that you present can be shared with this system. And pretty much you can walk them through, show them the final plan. A tactic that a lot of LOs will do is they'll literally start all the way over at the Manage tab, and they'll walk through them. They'll walk with the client throughout this entire process. I wouldn't recommend doing that, your first couple times utilizing the system. But when you're more comfortable, like I was after maybe 10, 15 presentations, I would take them, from start to finish. It really gives them a deep appreciation as to what you're really doing for them. More importantly, it kind of brings back that whole face-to-face, interaction between the client and the LO, which frankly has just kind of disappeared with technology. I mean, random fact, actually, the conversion rate with a face-to-face encounter is actually about 40%. Just an email back and forth or a link, a little less than 10%. So, I mean, if you can get them on the phone, it's definitely, it's definitely already an advantage to you. You also actually have another way of getting this information out to them. You can actually publish this to the web. 2 ways of going about doing this. Now, you could actually create a video presentation. If I click on yes, what will happen is it's going to record my desktop. I can actually select a frame and just show what the client, what I want them to see. I have a microphone available. I can record my voice, go over the plan, let them know, hey, it's been some time since we spoke. I haven't been able to get in touch with you, but I was running some numbers. And it looks like this might be a really good refi opportunity for you. Let me know if this makes sense. Just go over the bottom line. If you, again, if you actually wanted to do the entire procedure, the entire process from start to finish by recording it, you can do that as well. It's whatever you want to do, whatever you think your clients could be most comfortable with. For the sake of argument, if I didn't want to actually send out a video or create a video, I can actually have this report, just like we're seeing it right now with the different links. I can have that report posted on a secure web page. What will happen is I can email this link to the client. They go in, they log in. Now I'll get 2 emails. The first one let me know, hey, Peter, Jim Smith has logged in to his profile page. And then I'll get another email. I'll be able to see once he clicks out his duration, how much time he spent there. So most likely I'd want to go ahead and reach out to Jim as soon as possible, see exactly what his thoughts were and if it's something he might consider doing. So again, you've got 3, really 4 ways of getting this presentation out there. So really, again, whatever the technical proficiency of your client, their demographic, age group, whatever, there's a way of getting this out to them in a way that's going to be appreciated and easy for them to understand. So let's hop back to BorrowSmart. So I kind of want to go over some other features as well. I mean, yes, you're getting the heart of this program is going to be making those core presentations, but there are other features as well that really make this system stand apart, separated from the competition that's out there. Actually, you know what? Let me actually show you an open house flyer. These open house flyers are good in many sense. The first, of course, is that it's archived, just like any other plan would be. I've got 6 different templates I can choose from for open house flyers. And I can include all the information, property value. If I want to, I include a qualifying ratio. I can select what referral partner I'd like to help me out with this plan. So I can select from as many realtors as I enter in. All of their information will be archived. I can also see how many plans I've assigned out to a particular realtor and per month. So it's a nice way of me being able to see who's more successful than the others and who I might want to do repeat business with. You're going to include a photo of the property, and any sort of disclaimers and amenities of the property. Now, a lot of LOs, they don't want to be doing these open house flyers. So this is a very nice segue into how this system can actually be shared with pretty much anybody you'd want to. By going to the Partners button right over here, I actually can invite an assortment of different clients and contacts I may have, referral partners. If you want to invite a realtor, what would happen is the realtor will get access to this site. They're only going to see the Manage tab, however. They're not going to be able to create a finalized product. It wouldn't make any sense. It's branded with your information. The last thing you want is something incorrect being created that can get you in trouble. So what you'd be able to do is by giving a specific realtor or a financial advisor, even a lender, or even the client access, they'll be able to get a plan started. And in the case of a realtor, they're actually going to be able to go ahead and create that open house flyer. So a lot of my clients, they have realtors they work with. Realtor has access to BorrowSmart. They go in every Friday afternoon, upload about 4 or 5 different open house flyers. All that's left for the loan originator to do, after the realtor sends it back to them, letting them know, hey, it's finalized, I just need you to enter in property info. You as the LO would go in to the Borrow tab, just like we did in the other presentations, enter in 3 different loan scenarios. It's going to ask those questions, and then I will go to my present, and I'm able to see the final product here. Here we are. As you can see, this flyer, this open house flyer also has a web version, so you are able to post this, and also you can publish this to the web. So what you could do is you could actually record a video presentation of this, literally, right to the point, letting them know the benefits of this property and that there are different loan options. So you've got a lot of versatility with getting these open house flyers out there. And again, realtors love it. It's really easy for them to use, so if they're not very technical proficient, it's not an issue. They can go in there. After 1 or 2, they'll be pros, cranking them out. So what else? What other benefits do we have? We also have a mobile app. And in my opinion, this is a service in of itself. What you'll find is, actually, let me get this set up here. So pretty much what we have here is a mobile business card. So I don't know why it's not loading right now. But typically what you would see is, okay, here we go. So this is basically what I want you to see. An online business card. Let's say you have you've got a bunch of referral partners, realtors. You give them this app. Now, the benefit to you is that if they meet somebody at an open house, seminar, anywhere, they'll be able to, if they feel that you will be able to help out that person, they'll send them over your contact info. The nice thing is you'll also get that person's contact info as well. So, and you're also emailed that as well, letting you know that there's a new contact for you to reach out to. So you ideally would want to get this mobile app in your hand, is especially your hands, but as well as many referral partners as you can get, because quite honestly, it's a tremendous tool to have. I mean, most realtors are out in the field anyway, so they're bound to have a mobile phone. It is compatible with both iPhone and Android, and all you would need to do is click Invite New User, just change the name in this email, and it gives them instructions for both Android and iPhone. So what benefit do they have? Well, you can kind of see it over here. They do have access to up-to-the-minute interest rates. They are based on a national average, and we do bump them up by a quarter of a percentage point of interest. They also have access to all of these different calculators, which you do as well on the main site. But these are really designed to work well with the system. If there's a piece of information you don't know, for example, in the What's Missing section, you can easily calculate that, enter it back into the Manage tab. But you'll find that these are a lot more robust and versatile than things you typically find with your your average rate alert services, things like that. They are meant specifically for BorrowSmart analysis. So we went over sharing this. We went over the mobile app. We went over the calculators. So the last thing I want to go over is the microsites. So with these microsites, these are very similar to the mobile app. And what you'd want to do with these is use them wherever you have an internet presence. I personally include this in my email signature. I put it on Facebook. My personal homepage, I'll include a link there. Pretty much what would happen is by somebody visiting my secure application website, they're going to be asked, just like you would with the mobile app, and also something very reminiscent to the Manage tab, where we're going to get that initial input of information. You know, what their name, their phone number, all their contact info. You're going to also be able to find out what interests them, what their current liabilities are. If they're looking to refinance, if they're looking for a new purchase, if they're looking to buy an additional house, if they're looking to buy for the first time, they're currently renting. With that knowledge, you'll be able to go ahead and crank out a plan for them that's going to suit their needs. And of course, when somebody does click on your microsite and does input information, you are given an email letting you know that, so-and-so did visit your microsite. There's now a plan in your BorrowSmart with a link to click on for you to go ahead and finalize that. So that's how you go ahead and use the microsite. So really, what we went over today, I wanted to be conscious of your time. I didn't want to go through too many scenarios, but I really just wanted to hit upon the facts that are really going to impact you and get you the most success, right out of the gate here. So I hope the majority of you did take advantage and did take a trial. If not, feel free to call our 1-800 number. I'll actually bring that up right now. Let us know if you'd like to get set up or you have any questions or you want to speak with either myself or any of our team in sales or member services. You're entitled to a free 21-day trial, and you can contact me at that 1-800 number there below directly, or you can email me at promillo@mssllc.com. I'm very fast at getting back at emails, so rest assured we'll get in contact with you. But before I take the floor to questions, I just want to let you know about our special. Anybody who attended this webinar, if you decide at any point you would like to sign up with BorrowSmart, you can do so for $470 for 14 months. So you're getting 2 free months. So the way I would look at it is you actually will have 2 full months to go ahead, become accustomed and confident with the system, and then you can use the remaining year, as a power user. If you don't want to commit for the full year, you can certainly do monthly. BorrowSmart is normally $47 a month. But again, anybody who did attend this webinar, you are entitled to access to BorrowSmart $47 for 2 months. So you're getting 60 days for half the price. So that's another way of you getting benefit out of this. So whatever you're more comfortable with, let us know, and we'll do our best to get you set up with the system. That being said, let's take a look, see what questions we have here. Will this be compatible with Fannie Mae's 3.2 file so we can upload like a 1003? Well, you can export right now into that file format, but technically the answer is yes. you would be able to upload info as if it was at 1003. However, that's with our Vantage system, and that's more of a corporate level. It's very unlikely that an individual LO will be able to pay for the technology to integrate BorrowSmart with whatever CRM or LOS they're using to get that 1003 into the system. So right now, no. If your company does at one point take our Vantage system, then yes, it would do that. But luckily, with the speed of the service and really not needing to enter in all of the relevant information, since we're just doing a pre-GFE presentation, it kind of makes up for that handicap. So, answer to your question is it is possible, but right now it's not feasible for the majority of LOs. Will the credit report auto-populate the liability section of this system? Again, that is something that a credit report could auto-populate. But unfortunately, that's our more robust system of Vantage. Right now, it's something that the individual LO is probably not going to really have access to. Is the HARP system available on this program? Yes, it is. It is. Actually, let's take a look at this. Pretty much what you would do. It's actually very simple to do that. I'm just going to open up my open up a purchase I had here. All I would really need to do, I'm going to go to Borrow. Whenever you see a calculator, it usually indicates that you can input additional information. So with my payment, I'm actually able to do other credits. So if I did want to include, I can do I could do HARP. If I wanted to, I could change this to a seller credit. It's totally up to you how you want to brand this with the closing costs. Again, typically it's easier to make it as simple as possible. But yeah, with HARP. If we're going to be doing an FHA via USDA, I click on this box here, and that actually will bring up an additional box here, and I can include my FHA fee. And if need be, I can do it either as a percentage of the base loan, as a flat rate, or of course I can include it in the loan. Okay. Does this section take into account how long the borrower has been in his current 30-year loan, and how much interest has already been paid into the current loan? When we show a client overall savings, we have to take how long he has been in the current mortgage and paying interest already. Yeah, all that information would be inputted into the on our manage page in our current liabilities. Let me just go back to, here we go. So when I go on the mortgage, when I input the current liability as being the mortgage itself, when I change the details, that's where I'm able to enter in how long they've been in the program for, when the start date was, what their current balance is, the original loan amount. That takes into account all those different factors, and it does calculate it automatically, the current payment. If you're missing a bit of information, you can go to the actual calculator section, and you would be able to use that what's missing calculator. So for example, if you're not currently sure what their current payment is or what the current balance is, but you have all the other information, you can go ahead and calculate that. Are there any integrations with Leads 360 or Encompass? Yeah, unfortunately, no, not right now. With our Vantage system, you will have full integration. It just depends on what your company utilizes as a CRM or LOS system. What's the price of your total package? Good question. It's $470 normally annual for this presentation, 14 months, or $47 a month for this presentation. That would be for 2 months. In what ways is this program more effective than the program Mortgage Coach offers? All right, well, that's a question I get a lot. 3 real things I'm going to hit upon here. First is ease of use. As I said, the learning curve with BorrowSmart, in my estimation, is much less sharp than what you would find with Mortgage Coach. Mortgage Coach Edge is a good service. However, it's very clunky. There are literally 20 windows I need to input information into before I can actually see the final product. With our service, it's just 2, manage and borrow. And that's when I can actually start seeing the math working, even in the Borrow tab. The second part that really distinguishes us from Mortgage Coach is you can't add current liabilities into Edge. You can't do a refinance and pay off existing debt, credit card, student loans, alimony, anything like that. That's something that Mortgage Coach cannot even take into account. It's not a factor. And the third is cost. I hate using cost as a reason why ours is better or what the advantage is, but that's strictly what it is. BorrowSmart is lot less expensive than Mortgage Coach Edges. Can I upload my logo from Letterhead? Yes. Yeah. Don't feel that the logo we have in the system is actually locked down. No, you will have the ability to customize everything. Okay. Got a question for what's the price again? Again, it's $470 for 14 months, $47 for 2 months, for the first 2 months. I did get some questions towards the end regarding our other services. A lot of them were regards to Vantage Production and also about our other products, namely Loan Toolbox, Platinum Marketing. Vantage Production is an enterprise-level, top-down solution for a company. Pretty much what it would do is once you get the client's, the prospect's information, it'll automatically start up a marketing campaign. It'll pull credit. It'll create a plan in Borrow Smart. It'll do it very quickly. Everything's integrated, very systematic. It is a CRM as well. So you're prompted when you should reach out to a client, all of that information is done. Again, that's an enterprise-level system. So it's something that most individuals are not going to be able to afford. It's just that the startup cost, all of the integration fees, maintenance and licensing, it's something that really is something we're gearing towards COOs, CFOs, CEOs, all the decision makers of companies with marketing and compliance, all of that. So that's something that hopefully the vast majority of you will have access to. Vantage is already in the hands of several companies. You probably know already if you have it, but that is something down the road for the majority of you. I got some questions regarding Loan Toolbox, Platinum Marketing. Might as well go over the other services we offer. Mortgage Market Guide, that is our real-time bond quote analysis service. So we issue out alerts to Locker Float. We do give you scripts, daily scripts, and marketing material to reach out to your different referral partners as well as clients. That's where you're going to find your different Japanese candlestick charts, things of that nature, all your economic calendars. Loan Toolbox and Platinum Marketing. Loan Toolbox, a lot of you veterans may remember, was one service. It had Platinum in it already. We've actually separated those. So Loan Toolbox is now strictly content for you as an LO. So pretty much it's best practices, education, scripts for success, things of that nature. Platinum Marketing is all content for your referral partners, your clients, realtors, prospects. It's an automated marketing system where you upload lists of different groups of people in your database, and we will automatically send out material at a predefined rate. Of course, you can pick the frequency and time interval and what day to initially send, and then we just do it automatically for you. All you would need to do is visit the reporting page and, of course, upload contacts periodically to keep the system fresh. All right. So those are all of our services. If you have any questions regarding them in particular, anyone you want a little bit more detailed, call our 1-800 number. Call your sales rep, or just call in, and any one of us, member services or in the sales department, can give you a trial to any one of these services if you're currently not using it, and of course walk you through just like we will with Borrow Smart. So that being said, it looks like that's the last of the questions. If I didn't get to your question, I skipped it, or it was too technical, I wanted to do a one-on-one answer with that, you will hear from me. I will get in contact with you. Just again, if you feel that you want a more detailed one-on-one walkthrough with Borrow Smart or any one of our other services, you've got questions regarding Vantage, you want to get us in contact with some of the key players at your company, let us know, and we'll do the best we can for you to take care of all your different needs. So that's pretty much it. What I'll do is I will let me go ahead and I'll put up my my contact info. So for anybody who came in late, you can go ahead and you can call me or email me, and I can get you set up with a trial or answer any questions you have. So thanks everyone. It's been great, and I look forward to speaking with you, personally over the phone and through email.